We are going to need a strap today and some blocks. And something to sit on is always good, blanket, pillow, whatever you got. All right. So it's 10, so I want to get started so I don't keep you guys too late. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody and head back to my mat. Give me 1 second. All right. So we'll start seated. Sitting up however you would like. We won't be here too long. We are going to come on our backs in a moment. But I just wanted to introduce our topic for today. Some of you already know the kind of main theme is imagine no possession, which is a phrase that comes from a song probably most of you are familiar with, the John Lennon song, Imagine. And this really came to mind for me as I wanted to do this sort of practice for peace. And if we tie this into yoga philosophy and the idea of possessiveness, there is a Sanskrit word from the yoga philosophies called aparigraha. And aparigraha is kind of a compound word. Anytime we have an A in front of a little phrase, it negates it. So parigraha would mean kind of this grasping, possessiveness, hoarding, controlling, exerting our power and will over others. So it's like this very contracted, tight energy. When we put that A in front of it, it negates it. So it would mean non-possessiveness, non-hoarding, non-controlling, all those things. So we'll explore in our practice today ways that we might kind of cling and grasp in our own bodies and even in our minds, and how we can have a more open expansiveness. So we're going to just sit up tall for a moment and just come into a nice soft breath. You might close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Start to settle in here to your practice. And as you notice and observe your breath, maybe this is one of the places where we tend to get a little kind of graspy or clinging, especially in the area of our diaphragm. So if we are feeling like we want to control or exert our will over a situation, we might start to experience kind of a knotting, a grasping feeling in our bellies and in our diaphragms, and our breath might feel a little more limited. So see if you can find that softness in the abdomen, even as you maintain a nice length and strength through your spine. We're going to stay with that breath for a little while longer. And I'll share a little bit more of this concept with you guys. So the accumulation of things, the possessions, often prevent us from being free. So we might consider in what ways have our possessions kept us from being free. Maybe we're afraid of losing those possessions. Maybe it takes us more time to maintain all of our possessions. Maybe we're afraid of change. And we grasp at not only things, but people as well. So maybe we're holding on to someone as opposed to something, and we have that clinging, which might not really be a true sense of love and generosity, but more so like a codependent type of relationship. We also cling to life itself. Right? So we practice Shavasana in our yoga practice every time, and that is representative of the corpse pose. So it's the ultimate letting go and releasing. We grasp at life changing. We want things to stay the same. We can see all of this playing out in our culture, sort of this and political scenario, this need for domination and control and accumulation. Are old ways dying of power and control in favor of more peace and harmony? In what ways is culture trying to maintain the status quo of power and control? Now bring your awareness to kind of the forehead area. We might tend to kind of contract into that area, especially if we're, feeling tension, wanting to control situations, and also being contracted in our point of view, in our mind. Can you let there be a little bit more of an open expansiveness in the area of your brow center? Perhaps seeing the bigger picture. And we're going to bring our hands onto the top of our head, right in the center, and press upward. Well, this is an acupressure point that I will tell you a little bit more about. So on the top of the head is a governing vessel acupressure point that is said to allow us to open to the universe, to the heavens, and to see the bigger picture. Just take one more breath there. And then we're going to move to the back of the skull at the hairline, the occipital ridge. We'll press right in the center for a moment. Feel that little bit of a lift of the back of your skull. And then slide out about a ½ inch or so over a little bump and press there. So now this is a gallbladder point, gallbladder 20, which also helps us see possibilities, relaxes tension, and is said to enhance positivity. And just go ahead, take a little rotation of your head from right to left as you hold those 2 points. All right, and then back to the center, slowly release the points and then observe that spot in the back of your head. So acupressure is really related to this topic today because when we press on a point, it's like creating a dam of energy. It's not letting energy flow. When we release it, it's like letting that energy flow through those points a lot more freely. So that's what kind of this concept of aparigraha is like. So let's bring soles of the feet together. We'll do one more acupoint. You're going to find the channel between your big toe and your second toe. This is liver point, and we're going to massage it first. So sometimes that area is a little tender, a little tight. And as we massage it, this is an area that is good for releasing chronic tension in the body, as well as good for our digestion. Now just go ahead and hold it and press it for a few moments, a few breaths. Again, we're kind of damming up that energy. So when we are in the state of possessiveness and control, it's like we're holding on, we're contracting, we're creating a contracted energy. Just like we can think about with money, right? If we hoard our money, we don't circulate our money. There's that whole concept of if we, maybe give to those in need, that it will come back to us. So it's like a circulation of energy. Now slowly let those 2 points go. Let your hands rest on your legs and just observe and imagine that energy flowing more freely through that channel. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to go ahead and draw the knees up, and we're going to come onto our backs. You're welcome to have something under your head here initially. If it starts to get in your way, do take it out. And then just come down and have a sense of releasing into that corpse pose for a moment. We are going to now get some energy moving, kind of giving this experience of feeling contraction intentionally and then releasing it. So I'm going to ask you to make fists with your hands, tighten up your arms, tighten up your legs, your belly, your shoulders, your face. Feel this like grasping sensation. And then just slowly let it all go. I'm feeling that contrast. Go ahead and do that 2 more times. And notice how when you create more tension inside your body, that energy is not really flowing so well. But then when we relax it, we might be able to feel more circulatory flow, the breath flows easier, our digestion is going to flow easier. So one more time, just get everything good and contracted. Tighten it all up. And release. And we'll imagine through our practice today that we're releasing kind of any inner gripping, inner grasping in our tissues. From here, bend your knees, set your feet flat. And we'll take our arms out to a big T. And then we're going to come into eagle arms. We're going to cross the right arm in front. Cross at your elbows and then intertwine your arms. See if you can bring your palms to face each other. So eagle pose is this kind of really contracted feeling in the body. Let's accentuate that by really squeezing the arms together. Give them a good squeeze. You'll feel that kind of maybe a little more opening in the back, but in the front body, a lot of congestion. And now let it go, let those arms come out to the side and feel that release. Now let's do it with the left arm on top, cross again, coming into your eagle arms, intertwine. If you can, the palms face each other. If eagle is really hard for you, you can also do a shoulder hug. And then you're gonna squeeze, so really squeeze the arms together, contract the front body, and then unwind it, release. Now we're going to take this into a bit of core work. So we're going to cross the right leg over the left leg, kind of like eagle legs. Some of you have legs that are long enough that you can intertwine your foot behind your shin. I don't have that advantage with my body, but you can. I'm going to take my pillow out now. And then with right leg on top, let's bring left arm on top, come back into eagle arms. And we're going to squeeze those arms. Take an inhale, move your elbows a little bit more toward your head. And then as you exhale, we're going to curl into a ball. So lift your legs, squeeze your arms, contract everything in. Press your low back into the floor, pull your abdomen down. And then release. Keep the arms just come down. Let's do that 2 more times on this side. Take an inhale, elbows move away from your body, and then exhale, squeeze in as tight as you can. Contract the abdomen, press your lower back, squeeze those arms. And then coming down, we're doing that 1 more time. Hard to talk while we're doing this. Squeeze it all in. Feel that contracted state. Now this time, unwind the arms, unwind the legs. You can take legs out straight or keep feet flat and just pause. And notice and feel the energy flow. Now we're going to do that the opposite. Left leg goes on top. Right arm on top, eagle arms. Inhale, elbows move away. Exhale, curl up. Lift your head, chest, and shoulders and squeeze it all in. Squeeze your inner thighs together. And then release it. We'll do 2 more cycles on your own. Remember to inhale when you come down, exhale, contract. Hold it out as long as you can. One more time. And then let it all go again. This time, let's go ahead and take legs out, arms out. Just feel the energy flow in your body. Have a sense here of non-grasping. Let the energy release. All right, let's go ahead and bend knees, and we're going to come over to our side. And we'll come on up back into a seated position again. All right. So widen out the sit bones, sit up nice and tall. And then let's inhale, reach the arms out wide. We'll come back into eagle with the right arm on top and give a good squeeze to those arms. Inhale, lift the elbows up. And as you exhale, we're gonna forward fold. See if you can bring your elbows past your shins and really squeeze in, get that contracting feeling. Tuck your chin in a bit. Go down as far as it feels good for you, squeezing those arms. And then release them, let them go and come into a forward fold. Let your head release, take a couple of breath cycles, feeling that contrast between all the engagement, and now a sense of surrender. We want that sense of surrender not to be like a giving up surrender, but a surrender into love, into generosity, kind of the opposite qualities of possessiveness. Slowly go ahead and bring yourself up. Switch the crossing of your legs. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, arms out wide. Left arm on top, eagle arms. Inhale, lift up. Squeezing those arms together. Start to fold forward. Keep squeezing. Elbows come past the shins if you can. And then start to just contract inward, tuck your chin in. And just feel that contracted state. One more breath here. And then surrender, let it all go. Let your head get heavy, release. All right, slowly starting to walk yourself back up, and let's come into tabletop position, all fours. And we'll do our cat-cows. Let's get some energy flowing. So I think in general, just yoga gets our energy flowing when we're feeling like we're in that contracted state of mind and body. Let's go ahead and take about 5 cycles of our cat-cows. Arching on the inhale, rounding on your exhale. Starting to go at a slower pace. So another way we grasp is trying to do so much. So we're grasping at life itself. So slow your pace down. Be present. Oftentimes when we're clinging, it's out of fear, out of lack, and out of not being present for what is or allowing what is. We want to kind of distract ourselves away with those belongings, with those possessions. Last cycle here, one more inhale, one more exhale. And then we're gonna take our knees apart and move back into child's pose. When you come into child's pose, bring your hands behind the back of your head to that occipital ridge and press those points again in the back of the skull. So remember, they're just about a ½ inch alongside of the back of the head there in the center. One more breath, so we open to possibility. And then release, then we're gonna grab our strap. So we're gonna come into rabbit pose, which goes onto the top of the head, that other point that we pressed in the beginning. For some of us, we don't wanna really go up on the top of our head, so you can do this in a child's pose, or you can just do it seated or kneeling, whatever feels right in your body. We're gonna have the strap behind our back. Now, some of you can easily clasp and take your arms up and overhead, but I'm gonna show with the strap today, because for a lot of us, it's too much on the elbow joints. So you're gonna come down to child's pose. Grab your strap behind your back. So feel free to do this seated if you don't like child's pose. Lift your collarbones and spread the shoulders apart in the front and squeeze them in the back. Those of you who feel it might be appropriate for you are gonna roll toward the top of your head into rabbit's pose. So you're gonna lift that strap up behind you, pull on the strap, keep lifting your shoulders. And again, activating that acupressure point on the top of the head that helps us open to possibilities and see more unity consciousness. All right, take one more breath there if you have it. And then let's release, coming back. Let that strap go off to the side. And we'll make our way into downward facing dog as you are ready. Once you're there, go ahead, pedal it out, maybe shake out your head. So we come into dog, we get a little more freedom in those points in the back of the neck and the crown of the head opening toward the ground. So nice slow pedal of the feet. All right. And then from here, inhale, plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale back to your dog, moving nice and slow. Let's take 2 more cycles. Inhale, plank pose, pushing forward through the crown. Exhale, dog. One more time. Next time you come into plank pose, we're going to lower all the way down onto the abdomen and inhale through our cobras. We're going to do 3 cobras. So you may feel like a nice stretch from the low belly through the chest. Hands are going to pull towards your feet, belly toward your hands. Another place where we grip is in those hip flexors. One more time. And then stay down on your belly, and we're gonna slide the right knee out to the side. And you can either be up on your forearms or rest your head down, whatever feels right for you. I'm gonna stay up so it's a little easier to talk you through it. All right, we're gonna press down into that right inner thigh. And we get a little bit of a stretch through that right inner thigh. And then relax it for a moment. And do that 2 more times. So another place we tend to grip in our bodies is pelvic floor and inner thigh region. So we're going to open that up a bit. All right, so now from here, we're going to do a little sliding action with that inner thigh. Slide that right knee a little bit to the right. It's not going to go far, but it's going to stretch that tissue of the inner thigh. And then we're going to slide it in and let the hip kind of lift and go to the midline. Slide your leg out, lengthen inner thigh, and then pull in. So fascia of the inner thigh is tied into pelvic floor. Last one. And then hold there and let's prop up on the forearms if you're not there. Okay. Tuck your left toes under and lift the left kneecap off the ground. Hold opposite elbows. And then we're going to pull forward from that low belly through the chest as we expand out through the right inner thigh. Hold there, 1 more breath. And then release. and we'll bring that leg back in, pause down for a moment, and just feel that energy flow through the right inner thigh. So a lot of this work also works with the meridians in Chinese medicine. These are pathways of energy flow through our bodies, and they can get stagnant, they can get stuck. So they also connect into each of our major organs. Let's do the other side, left knee out to the side, either on your forearms or rest your head down. 3 rounds, press your inner thigh toward the ground. And then release. 2 more. One more. I hope you guys remember to start your music if you're playing the playlist, because right about now, for me, my Imagine song is coming on. All right, now we're going to do the slide. So you're going to slide the inner thigh a little bit to the left and then slide it into the midline. 2 more. Slide it out to the side and to the midline. 1 more time. And then hold it there. Come up on the forearms. If you're not there, tuck your right toes under, lift your right kneecap, hold opposite elbows, and then pull your arms towards your belly, belly towards your arms, lengthen the low belly region. So we're in a state of fear, that's a contracted state, and we might feel that clenching in pelvic floor and low belly hip flexor area. Good, release, slide back, lower down, and let's press back up, downward facing dog. So we should feel nice and open through that halfway of the inner thigh. Widen your feet, walk your hands back to your feet, folding forward over your legs. And then let's inhale, rise all the way up. As you exhale, draw your hands to your heart. Very good. So let's get a little bit of flow going, standing at the top of your mat. If you're not there, let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale to your halfway lift, and then step it back. Take your vinyasa. You can go down to cobra or halfway down and come into your upward facing dog. Meeting in your down dog. Take an inhale here, exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale halfway, exhale and fold. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. Step back, plank pose, top of a push-up. Your choice, cobra or your up dog. All right, this time we're going to stay here. Inhale your right leg up. And we're going to step through to a lunge and drop your back knee down. Okay, coming up into your lunge, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. As you inhale, arms out wide. Left arm comes on top for those eagle arms. Intertwine your palms. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, slide into your front knee. Squeeze those arms, get that contraction, and then lift the elbows up into a little bit of a back bend if you can. Now you might start to drop deeper into that hip, but really keep planted in your front foot and reach the arms up. Hold it there, another breath. And as you inhale, next time, unwind the arms, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Lift the back knee, spin the heel down. We're opening into a warrior 2. And I'm gonna spin around so I'm facing you guys. Okay, so come into your warrior 2. Pause here. So expand out wide through those arms now. Bend a little deeper into your front knee. Hold it there, one more breath. And as you inhale, we're going to straighten the front leg, reach forward and come into triangle pose. So hand can reach to ankle, floor, or a block. And we're reaching that top arm up, get expansive through your arms. And we're going to make peace fingers with our top hand. So make a peace sign since it's a practice for peace today. Open the bottom arm by turning that shoulder externally. Open the collarbone. Let's hold here another breath. Pull your hips towards your back foot. Good, one more. And then from here, go ahead and rise back up, warrior two position. Cartwheel your hands down to the ground, spin onto the ball of the back foot, or back in a lunge. Widen your right foot to the right a bit, and we're gonna step up into a squat. So step that back foot forward and then drop down into a squat to your capacity. If squatting's not good for you, take chair pose, so we'll be up higher, okay? So squats are good for this kind of downward flow of energy, kind of symbolic of letting go. So let's hold it for a moment. Press through your feet, lift your chest, press through your palms. One more breath cycle here. And then we're going to release the hands down, lift your hips, parallel your feet. And if you can, use your peace fingers to grab your big toe. So you do a yogi toe lock there. If that doesn't work for you, hold opposite elbows. So peace fingers on the big toe if you can. You could bend your knees as much as you need to. And then let your spine spill forward. Release the head, maybe shake it out. And let the sit bones start to lift a little higher. One more breath. And then we're either going to roll up or press up. Rise all the way to the top. Good. Okay, let's do that sequence on the other side. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. We're going to take the vinyasa and meet in downward facing dog. So either your cobra or your upward facing dog, your choice. All right, when you're ready, inhale, reach your left leg up. And we're going to step through to the lunge and drop the back knee down. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart, press the palms together. And then open the arms out wide. Right arm comes on the top for our eagle arms. And we're going to get that contracted state by squeezing those arms together. And then you might slide into your front knee, hooking your tailbone forward. And then possibly lifting those arms up, coming more into the back bend. And then keep that squeezing action in the arms. Let's hold there another breath. Maybe those hips drop a little more. And then release. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hands come down, we'll make our way to warrior two. So lift the back knee, spin that heel down, cartwheel the arms up, and we're in our warrior two. Bending a little deeper into that front knee and make sure that knee presses a bit towards your pinky toe. One more breath, expand through the arms now. And then we'll inhale, straighten that front leg, try not to lock the knee. And then reach forward and down into our Trikonasana, peace fingers up. Spiral that bottom arm open. Now we're gonna hold here another breath or two as we did before, pelvis tips towards your back foot. And notice if you tend to grip with your toes in your standing postures. Can you let the toes spread? Feel like you're widening through your feet a bit instead of gripping with those toes. One more breath here. And then we're gonna rise up to our warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down, widen that front foot a bit, and we step up into our squat. So come on down then, and you can also take the chair pose as an option. Palms together, lift your chest. Holding it here, another breath or two. Release your hands, lift your hips, option to get those peace fingers around the big toe. You might bend those knees a lot here if you need to. And then let your head, heart, chest spill forward. You might press into the ground with your feet and let those sit bones start to lift a little higher. Holding it here, another breath. Good, and then we'll bend those knees. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And step those feet back in. All right, stand with your feet maybe outer hips distance, turn the toes out. We're gonna do some of those eagle movements into the squat now. So we're gonna keep working on the squat. Inhale, reach the arms out wide. Right arm comes on top for your eagle arms. We're gonna inhale, squeeze those arms, lift up. And as you exhale, we come down toward the squat. If you can come part way or all the way, it's up to you. Squeeze in. And then inhale, use those legs, lift up. Exhale, come down. Squeeze the arms, one more time, press up. And come down. Now hold it in the down position. You can be part way, you can be all the way. Squeeze those arms, let the head come in a bit. And then let those arms go down to the ground. Good, lift those hips, fold forward over your legs. And then either roll up or press up. We're gonna do that with the arms crossed the other way. All right, inhale out wide, left arm comes on top. Squeeze those arms, inhale, lift up. Exhale down toward the squat. Coming down as far as you like. Two more times. One more. And then staying down there, squeeze those arms, contract inward. And then let it go. Let those arms release, take a breath. Good, lift the hips, fold over your legs. And then hands to hips, press in your feet, come all the way up. Good. All right, grab your blocks, put them toward the top of your mat. We're gonna repeat the warrior sequence, and we're gonna add in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So I feel like balancing postures are one of the places where we tend to really grip and grasp because we wanna stick that balancing posture. And so I encourage you to, let yourself fall out if you need to without hurting yourself, of course, but don't feel like you got to grip and hold on for dear life to get the pose. So we'll talk about that when we get there. So make sure those blocks are there for your balance. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, take the vinyasa or not. You can also go right to downward facing dog if you choose. Is it? Okay, thank you. All right, sorry about that. Brian just gave me a message about the music. I just turned it down a bit. Let's go right to warrior two this time. Inhale, right leg up. And step through to warrior two. No lunge this time. Come right up. All right, inhale, straighten that front leg, triangle pose, peace fingers up. Shift your hips toward that back foot, so you're lengthening the side body. And then from here, bring your top hand onto your hip, bend your front knee, grab your block, and place that block under your hand. If you have really long arms, you don't need the block, totally up to you. We're gonna start to shift the block forward, about a half foot to a foot, step the back foot in, and then we're gonna float that top leg up, finding balance here. Pause right here, notice if you're gripping with the toes. Spread your toes, and then lift that top leg a little higher and firm the standing hip in for balance and control. If you're steady, take your peace fingers and reach them up. And then see if you can maintain the pose without the grippiness. Can you let energy flow a little bit as you're holding this pose? One more breath. And then from here, we're going to carefully start to step it back and come back to your warrior two. Good, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet, hands to hips, and we're going to hinge forward and fold over the legs. Hands can come to blocks or the floor. We're going to stay here with straight arms, chest parallel to the ground. Turn your right toes out and bend the right knee, coming into a side lunge. And we're going to stay here for a breath or two. With your left foot, press your pinky edge of that foot down, resist that foot to the left, almost drag it to the left a bit as you bend deeper into your right knee. Again, stretching that inseam of the leg through the pelvic floor. All right, let's switch it to the other side. Parallel the right foot, turn the left toes out, lunge a bit to the left. And then we're resisting with the right foot. Pinky edge of that foot presses down, almost drag it a bit to the right as you bend deeper into your knee. One more breath there. And then back to the center, parallel your feet. And then we're going to fold forward here if you like. You could stay halfway up or maybe a little bend in the knees, fold forward, peace fingers, grab those big toes and fold over your legs. Elbows can bend toward the sides. Maybe those legs to straighten as you lift your sit bones up. Ground through the legs and see if the grounding of the legs helps you release a little bit more tension through your spine. Allow the spine to lengthen. So a lot of times the more grounded we are, the more we can stop grasping and possessing because we're grounded in who we are. We don't need those possessions to make us feel more powerful or more of an ego boost. So let go, one more breath. Okay, after that next breath, walk your hands back out onto your shoulders, pivot around to the front of your mat in your lunge, and step back, downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa or child's pose if you'd like to take one. We'll meet in our dog, and we'll do side two. So wherever you are, dog or child's pose, let's take another breath or two. And then when you're ready, coming back to your dog from the top, let's step the left foot forward and come into our warrior two. Good, front leg straightens, reach forward and down, come into your triangle, peace fingers up. Pelvis shifts toward that back foot, to also help us lengthen that inseam of the leg. We're going to end with some wide leg forward folds. All right, top hand to the hip. We're going to bend that knee, grab your block, and then the block moves forward. The back foot shifts in. I'm just going to adjust so I stay in the frame, but you guys are just going to come into your half moon from here. Top leg is going to float up. Nice, spread through those toes. Check in with that bottom foot. Are you gripping there? Can you spread those toes? Lift the top leg a little higher, getting that outer hip muscle to turn on. And then maybe peace fingers up here. If you're not steady, see if you can be content to keep hand on the hip. So contentment is another antidote for grasping. Can we be content with what we have? One more breath. Where are you gripping? And then step it back, warrior two. Straighten that front leg, parallel your feet, and let's fold forward again, hands to the floor. And we'll do that little lunge sequence one more time. Turn the right toes out and lunge to the right. Resist with your left foot. So we keep the arch lifting, toes spreading. Come as deep as you would like. All right, other side, switch your feet. Press through that pinky edge of the right foot. Back to the center, parallel your feet. Either stay in that halfway up shape or take a deeper forward fold if you like. And you can do peace fingers again. If you want to take a different version, you are welcome to. We'll take 3 breaths. Feel like you're lifting up from inseam of your leg all the way up to that pelvic floor. All right, go ahead and release, walk your hands out, pivot around to the front of your mat. And we're gonna step forward into a squat again, but this time feet are gonna come together. So step your feet together, I'm gonna face forward and come down into a squat. You can't squat, you're gonna do a chair pose. Some of you are gonna try crow pose now. So crow pose is my nemesis. I always can't stick it, so I've had to practice my aparigraha and let go of this pose many times. But those of you who want to try it are going to join me. And I have a little trick I like to do because I always, since my teacher training, I fell and hurt my wrists in this pose. So it's always like that fear that makes me grippy in this pose. I like to put my head on a block, and that helps me find balance. So you can play with where the block goes. It might need to go a little bit farther forward. And you're gonna bring your arms inside your legs, press your legs into your arms. And that might be your pose today. Or you're gonna start to tip forward toward the balls of your feet. Maybe your forehead comes to the block. And you can go in and out a few times, try to get a little deeper into that squat. Some of you might be able to pick your feet up off the ground. And that block often needs to be a little farther forward than you think. I always have it too close. And maybe you're going to be able to stick that pose today. But if you don't, you can let go of your attachment to it and just have fun. Let that energy flow. So I'm going to give you another moment or two to play with that. You can always just work on your squat, your chair pose, or eventually we're going to come down to sit. So take one more moment there. And then we'll make our way down to sit in our bound angle position once again. So now we did a lot of hard work there. We practice not grasping in all those poses that maybe are challenging for us. Now we'll practice more of the surrender. So we started in a little bit of a bound angle with our acupressure points. Now it's going to be more about just releasing. Let's rock the sit bones apart. Sometimes they're kind of tucking inward in that graspiness. So we widen them, it'll help us fold. We inhale, lift up tall, and then exhale, begin to forward fold. Now, as you come partway to that forward fold, can you think about your sit bones tipping back a bit rather than tucking under? So it's really challenging on our lower back if those sit bones are tucked under too much. Then once you find a place where you are good, I don't want you to force anything. So sometimes we pull and grasp and force ourselves into a forward fold. Can we have a softer approach today? Maybe let your chin tuck in and your spine even round a bit. Maybe you turn your palms up on the ground and even soften your palms. And take a couple of breath cycles there. With that sense of surrendering in love and generosity and contentment. Can you be content with not going any farther if it's not right for your body today? All right, next inhale, we're going to slowly come up. We're going to draw the knees together. I'm going to go side view here so you can see a little bit better. We're going to lean back and bring your forearms to the ground and extend your legs up straight. Swing your right inner thigh in front of your left inner thigh. So you're crossing like eagle legs almost. And then we're going to bring the feet out to the side like Gomukhasana legs. Flex the feet, squeeze those inner thighs, and then press in your forearms, lift your chest, open your collarbones. From here, we're going to start to see if we can come up to a seated position, keeping the legs the same. Now, if this is not good for you with the legs crossed like this, you can take a regular cross-legged position. Start to press in your palms, pop yourself up, and come into Gomukhasana with that right leg on top. So we'll turn around again. Couple of modifications here, guys. You could sit up on a block. You could sit up on a folded blanket. You can stay upright if you like. And we're going to squeeze those legs together. Inhale the arms out wide. Back to our eagle, left arm on top. And we're going to squeeze everything in, inner thighs, arms. Lift up on an inhale, and as you exhale, can you get those elbows past the knees? And for a moment, just contract inward. And then unwind it, let the arms go and fold over your legs. All right, let's do that on the other side. So we're going to slowly start to come up. We're going to lean back onto the forearms, take the legs up straight. And now left inner thigh crosses over. Find your Gomukhasana legs. And first we're going to just kind of squeeze those inner thighs. Press into your arm bones, lift your chest. And then when you're ready, start to rock up. Push into the hands and find your seated Gomukhasana, left leg on top. Remember, you can always just sit cross-legged like we did in the beginning, as opposed to the Gomukhasana legs. Inhale the arms out wide, right arm comes on top. Good, squeeze those arms together. Inhale, inner thigh squeeze, arm squeeze. And then exhale, try to hook past your legs if you can. And for a moment, we're gonna squeeze everything in. Get small and contracted. And when you're ready to unwind, release. Take a couple of breaths in your forward fold. All right, slowly come up. We're gonna keep kind of working on this same theme for a moment. Unwind, legs come back up, prop on your forearms. This time, keep the legs straight. Reach through the legs, lift your chest, and we're gonna come up into Navasana. So start to push in your hands, lift up. If this is challenging for you, bend your knees. Those of you who can, peace fingers are gonna hook the big toes and you'll straighten those legs, okay? That might not be accessible, so be content without. You can also use your strap here as a modification to make your arm bones a little longer. And lift your chest. Try to get your lower back to draw in, sacrum in, rather than rounding back. One more breath. Now we're gonna let go of the legs and slowly let them come down, use control, and we'll come up to Dandasana, reach the arms up. Thigh bones root down, spread your toes. And then as you exhale, starting to hinge forward into Paschimottanasana. You can stay up a little higher, you might go a little deeper, but let's get those sit bones to scoot back. They might be tucked under a bit. And then maybe one more time, inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. And if possible, we're gonna go for a more relaxed version. Maybe let the palms turn up, let your chin come in. And let go of the feeling of grasping, of striving, of conquering the pose. Can you be content with what you have in this moment? And maybe that means you need to sit up a little higher, especially if you've got any lower back stuff going on. Listen to your body. Let go of any gripping in your jaw, another place we tend to grip. We'll take 3 more breath cycles. Okay, now after that 3rd breath cycle, let's just put hands on shins or thighs, draw the belly in and push halfway up. And then slowly make your way all the way up, take a pause. We're gonna do this sequence one more time. So we're gonna bring hands back behind you, come back onto your forearms, last time, legs up. Push in your arm bones, lift your chest. Good, now we're gonna pop up toward that Navasana boat pose. Maybe you're bending your knees, maybe you're grabbing your toes with your peace fingers. And we'll try the wide leg version now, take the legs apart, that's it. And then try to lift your chest up, draw that lower back in, so you're more maybe toward the backs of your sit bones, but you're not letting your lower back round. Reach out through those inseams of the legs. One more breath. Good, now we're gonna slowly let the legs come down with control, using those legs, and come onto the tops of the sit bones, sit up top. That's it. All right, inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, hands come down. You can stay right here, or if you're invited to go deeper, get those sit bones to tip back, and we start to fold. Remember, we're not forcing our way. We're not grasping at this pose. We're allowing it to be what it is. Some of you are closer to the ground, can stack up some blocks and put it under your forehead. And we're gonna hold this one a little longer this time. So I'm gonna keep you here for maybe 2 minutes. If you need to come out, you're always welcome to come up. But see if you can really cultivate that sense of surrendering into love and generosity and allowing energy to flow rather than to grasp and cling. And while you're there, share a little reading. By having less physical possessions to preserve and maintain, we liberate time and energy. And by watching our interpersonal motives for giving and receiving, we become more balanced in our relationships. We discover a wellspring of energy that we can devote to what matters most in life, like determining what we are here to express, or how we are meant to serve the needs of the world through our unique skills and perspectives. Aparigraha offers a distinct benefit that comes from reducing desires and accumulation while holding a perspective of appreciation within. As we magnify the love in our hearts through the perspective of abundance, we receive the benevolence of life and the understanding of our greatest sense of purpose, that which will bring us true fulfillment and more happiness than any possession. So let's stay for a couple more breaths here. Last breath cycle. That was a little over 2 minutes. Let's very, very slowly start to bring ourselves back up. We'll pause when we get to the top. All right. Let's go ahead and lift the knees, bring those legs together. Grab whatever you need for Shavasana. We're not quite there yet, but you might want a pillow under your head. You might want something for under your knees. And let's go ahead and bring those knees into the chest for a hug. And just let your lower back and your back muscles soften into the ground. The belly relax. Take 3 more breath cycles here, just letting those back muscles soften after all that seated work. And then let's go ahead and come into a happy baby, but we're going to do so in stages, because here's another pose where some of us tend to grasp. Let's take our hands behind the backs of the knees and let the knees drop wider than the body. And then start to bring the feet to face the ceiling. Now let's notice here, are you grippy in your belly or your shoulders or your jaw? Can you let your spine be nice and neutral, still relaxed as when we were hugging our knees to our chest? And if you can stay with that neutral spine and no gripping in the low belly, we'll reach up and hold the ankles or peace fingers to big toes. And then draw those knees down a little wider. I'm getting that opening through inner thigh and pelvic floor again. And then let's take 5 breaths just to hold here. With that nice, soft belly breath. Jaw relaxed, face relaxed, head heavy. Let there be no striving, just being for a last breath here. And then let's release and bring those knees back into the chest. All right, let's go ahead and come into that corpse pose. So grabbing anything that you need to be comfortable, layers, props, and we'll come into Shavasana. I'll give you guys a couple moments to get settled. And then having that sense of surrendering into love, peace, harmony. Perhaps noticing if there's a little less grasping in the mind, in your body. Have a sense of letting the palms be spacious, open, releasing any grip in the palms. Having that same sense of openness through the feet and the toes, not reaching, not striving, but just allowing there to be space. Maybe imagining spaces between your toes. Feeling a sense of releasing grippiness from the inside out. So when we are in fear or in lack, or wanting to control, our tissues will tighten on the inside, gripping our inner organs, impeding flow around the heart and our digestive organs. So imagine space around all the organs, space for the diaphragm to move and rise and fall. Really soften around your heart. So we often tend to clench there, particularly in those situations where we're feeling that heartache of relationship or feeling the sorrows of the world right now. Allow your heart to release any grippiness, any resentments that we might be grasping onto. Maybe a sense of forgiveness in the heart. We'll stay for a couple more minutes. Finish one last little reading before you drift off. Through aparigraha, we know that we are complete as we are right now, perfect in our own spiritual essence. There is no need to cling to anything outward in order to be whole. We hold an inner richness that is always there, even when it is temporarily obscured by the clouds of stress or challenges. We see the blessing in every difficulty, every loss, every success as every setback. And we develop a consciousness of abundance that enables us to define with joy the course and intention of our lives. So we're going to take just a couple more minutes for Shavasana, and then we'll finish with our seated practice. All right, everyone. So we're going to start to return. And first, again, notice shifts in your mind, body. After this practice of aparigraha, letting go of our attachments and our clinginess, letting go of tension in mind and body. Starting small movements, deeper breaths, gradually coming over onto your side. And we'll have a pause before we come up to sit. Then finding a seated position that would be comfortable for you. And then maybe we'll turn the palms up, feeling that openness in the palms. Returning to soft breath in the belly. And just scanning through your body for anywhere you might be holding on. Those common areas of brow center, jaw, shoulders, heart, belly, pelvic floor. Just feeling this sense of contentment, peace, and love. Many studies show that even when a small group of people gather and meditate and cultivate love, can shift the collective consciousness in a way that there might be less crime in an area just by a group of people gathering this intention of positive energy. So allow this seated practice to have a ripple effect outward. It's bringing more peace into the world. The sense of energy flow through your whole body. It's unimpeded by those ways that we often block the energy from flowing. May we not cling to our possessions. And even imagine what life would be like without those possessions that take up our time, our money, our energy. And as the song goes, we imagine no possession. And the next line, no religion too. And that doesn't mean we don't have our spiritual practice, but maybe that kind of religion that separates, causes war, that causes division. Can we imagine a world like that? So continue with your breath. Final reading is from John O'Donohue called For Peace. As the fever of day calms toward twilight, may all that is strained in us come to ease. We pray for all who suffered violence today. May an unexpected serenity surprise them. And for those who risk their lives each day for peace, may their hearts glimpse providence at the heart of history. And may those who make riches from violence and war might hear in their dreams the cries of the lost. And that we might see through our fear of each other a new vision to heal our fatal attraction to aggression. That those who enjoy the privilege of peace might not forget their tormented brothers and sisters. That the wolf might lie down with the lamb, and that our swords be beaten into plowshares. No hurt or harm be done anywhere along the holy mountain. All right, let's go ahead, bring our hands together in front of our heart space. And we'll take a nice inhale and exhale, bowing to our hearts. And thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.